Did Max Verstappen have a meeting with Toto Wolff in Sardinia? Did the sacking of Christian Horner guarantee a stay at Red Bull for the 4-time world champion? Does he quit F1 altogether to make more babies with Kelly? Everyone is talking about Max Verstappen's future. So here's what's going to happen. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. The F1 space is rife with speculation about Max Verstappen's future. And as a Max fan and a content creator, I need to get my opinion out too. Let's start with the situation as it is now. Max Verstappen isn't happy with how things went and are going at Red Bull right now. There was a power struggle, great people left, the results slumped, and overall, it's not the calm environment he wants to be in to score wins. Max Verstappen has always said that ideally he'd want to stay with one team his whole career. But he also stated that if he had to fight in the midfield for a whole season, he'd rather quit, as he's achieved everything he wanted in F1 anyway after winning his first championship. So lately, the paddock has been full of whispers of a Max Verstappen to Mercedes move. Not so long ago, we heard that Aston Martin has been talking to their sponsors and has prepared a $1 million deal to convince Max Verstappen to join. Then there are pundits who think he's taken a sabbatical to see which team is best after 2026. And then there are people who think he might stay at Red Bull. Enough food for thought here. So let's go through the options one by one. We'll find out at some point which of the options was the right one. A move to Brackley to race for the Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula 1 team seems to be on everyone's mind at the moment. I don't blame them, because the last 2 race weekends, that was all everyone talked about. And that was before Christian Horner was sacked. Some people think Horner was let go because Verstappen announced he's leaving, and they blame Horner for that. So as a punishment, they fired him. I personally think that it's a little too late to do that, if that was the case. I think if they already knew Max was leaving, they'd have been better off just sticking with Horner and letting him rebuild the team. No, I think firing Horner was done in an attempt to keep Verstappen there. Anyway, that's a different topic. This chapter is about the likelihood of Verstappen going to Mercedes and the pros and cons of that move. I believe the threat of Max going there is real. I believe proper talks are being held between the concerned parties. Whether that's just to have the options all clear or real negotiations, we'll have to find out later, when the dust has settled. Mercedes has been a fantastic team since the 2014 regulations. They were the strongest then because they had the strongest engine and had built a car that complemented it. This is why many people think they are going to ace the 2026 regulations as well. They built a great engine in 2014, so they'll do it again. I think that's a bit of a flimsy reason to bet on another Mercedes dominance. After all, they struggle with the ground effect and have not been great at developing their aero package. Those porpoising issues spring to mind. Pun intended. If anything, if they do have the strongest engine, McLaren will have it too, and they have shown to be able to create a great ground effect platform. I do like Mercedes. It's a classy team that is built on a classy brand. A lot of business owners in my town own a Mercedes. It's a great status symbol. Now, that begs the question of whether Verstappen and his clan will have the same freedoms as he had at Red Bull. He doesn't seem to be a guy that likes to be nuzzled. There's also his activities outside of F1, his sim racing and his GT3 team, driving around other brands and other sponsors on the cars. A lot of paperwork needs to be filled in before that becomes a reality. And all that is without a guarantee that he'll win championships there. Now please don't click away from the video because you want to see him at Mercedes. I have a lot more to say and you might miss out. Hit subscribe if you don't want to miss out. So my thoughts are that Max Verstappen is checking his options while in the meantime putting pressure on Red Bull to make changes. He won't be driving for Mercedes in the foreseeable future. Let's check out the next team. The Aston Martin Aramco Formula 1 team is a huge project from Canadian billionaire Lawrence Stroll. This man is a determined businessman with very few weaknesses. His only weakness is driving the second car. He has been building a fantastic F1 team with new facilities and the best of the best when it comes to staff. He convinced Adrian Newey to join. He has Andy Cowell running the team after the success at Mercedes, and they will be driving Honda engines next season. They are willing to pay a huge sum to Verstappen to have him in the car. They desperately want him. Their other driver, Fernando Alonso, is 44 years old and he's getting grumpier each race, especially when they favour Lance. Max's racing team also uses an Aston Martin, so the connections are already there too. On paper, this move looks great. However, Honda boss Koji Watanabe has spoken about how challenging the new regulations are, and a lot of people have taken that as a signal that they are behind on, for instance, Mercedes when it comes to the engines. Adrian Newey, who built cars that brought Red Bull to the top, has also said this project would take a few years, just like it did for the Milton Keynes team. I have a huge amount of faith in Adrian Newey and these new regulations with active aero and ground effect, as they are perfect for him. But it will still take time to get everything flowing. It's a massive project. I'm sure that Max Verstappen can do as he pleases at a team willing to pay him $1 billion over a period of 5 years. But he wants to win as well. There's nothing wrong with helping a team to win in a longer time period, but I don't know if he wants to do that at a new team. I find the possibility of a Max Verstappen move to Aston Martin unlikely. There are people out there who think Max Verstappen taking a year out is good for him, so he can assess the situation. I think it was Karun Chandok who opted for that. I'm not entirely sure. I can see where that's coming from. Verstappen's stock is very high in F1. And if, for performance reasons, he can't win a single race at whatever team he is next season, his stock might drop. You also don't want to commit to one team to find out another team has nailed their eggs, and then those seeds are filled. Max Verstappen himself has ruled out the idea of a sabbatical. It was asked at Silverstone and he said surely not. So that's that. He will be on the grid next season, and I think it's most likely he'll be in this team. I think Max Verstappen will stay at Oracle Red Bull Racing, the team that took him in when he was only 17 years old, the team that promoted him in his second season and allowed him to make all the mistakes a young driver makes, as they believed in him. They chucked out Renault in favour of Honda to supply him with a good engine and have supported him through everything. He is free as a bird, has fewer marketing duties, and it allows him to race sims and test his GT car at a dangerous track like the Nordschleife. His father is welcome in the garage, and he has a wonderful relationship with his engineer GP and the rest of the team. Replacing all that is a hard task, and it's all with a vague idea of whether he'll have a fast car at another team. No, my idea is that Max Verstappen stays and helps to rebuild Red Bull back into shape. With Christian Horner sidelined, Pierre Waché and Enrico Balbo are less protected and might get assistance or even get replaced. Oliver Mintzlaff has shown he's all in for Verstappen, and it must feel good to have this support, to feel this loyalty. Max is a loyal guy, as he's shown in the Marco situations a few times, and a Red Bull boss like Oliver Mintzlaff is willing to do anything to keep him there. He sacked Horner because he had too much power, and the Verstappen camp has thoughts about one man running 4 departments. If Red Bull promotes a dedicated person to each individual department and lets them report to Mintzlaff, we'll see a big change. At McLaren, we have that structure too. Zak Brown is the CEO, and all the heads of the departments report to him. You can't say that the system doesn't work. It's also not a board with suits who only care about the bottom line, like Ferrari has. Those board members keep meddling in F1 affairs. I think this is the way to go for Red Bull, and ultimately the way to go for Max Verstappen. There's honor in sticking with your team to whip that team back into shape, like Schumacher did with Ferrari in the 90s. And the payoff would be huge if he's standing there with a 5th title in 2027. He would be the ultimate GOAT if Max Verstappen manages that. What do you reckon? Take care now. Doei doei. Honda boss Koji Watanabe.